We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2 of this best-of-3 series between Team WE and Vici Gaming. As we wait to see the Millennium Walls outside of the WE stadium there. And WE, like we said before the break, looked incredibly strong. Didn't look like they were ever out of control. But, you know, nothing really else to say about it.
Yeah, business as usual, and I think their draft strategy is something that Vici will have to try and break here. This is a very stock standard draft where you go Corki, Ezreal, pretty much the safest, strongest picks, pair it up with a Yuumi, tanking the top side. A lot of LCK teams run this as well. It's very popular in the meta, and I just think it's like a tier 1 build for WE. So I think it's something that Vici should see coming and should have a good counter towards it.
Yeah, and Vici, they tried something new, tried Tristana. We had a quick look at all the different regions that I looked at before, and it's not a bad pick, but it definitely has, you know, certain matchups where it does incredibly well, Karma being one of those, and then certain matchups where it doesn't. And unfortunately, I think specifically for Vici, it doesn't work against the Corki.
Yeah, so we've been looking at the Tristana stats just across the break here a little bit, and it does seem like we're seeing a lot of Tristanas in both the bot lane, in the mid lane, and the top lane. They're actually a triple lane flex right now. Seeing her played against the Sivir, that's been a traditional counter. Seeing her played against the Kai'Sa in the LCK, and that was in fact the one time that Tristana was played in the LPL as well as a Kai'Sa counter. And now we're seeing it prop up against in the mid lane sometimes as well too. So new trend, new phenomena. Still standard build, Blade of the Ruin King, Infinity Edge for you. And this is how xiye got his MVP, by the way.
Yeah, xiye is the MVP. As you can see, he's just able to, he does a full wrap and then comes right back the end. And they haven't got an answer to him. They've got no way of, you know, kind of dealing with the Corki right there. And you see just with the amount of damage, nearly 30%, almost 100% as well. I think he was like 2 kills away, or maybe even 1 kill away from... Actually, with 2, yes. I think they got 11 overall from getting 100% kill participation. And that's his first MVP of the entire split.
Now, to be fair, W have not been winning a lot of games, but she has always been known as Mr. Big Shot. So I'm surprised to see that as his first one. Beishang took a couple of them last time against Invictus Gaming. Mystic as well. But congratulations to xiye. He's finally getting back on track.
Finally.
Finally, yeah. I mean, he had the most MVPs of the entire W squad. He was only 1 shy away from Scout in spring of 2018. So he's been known to rack those up. So I'm kind of surprised this is his first one so late into the split.
Yeah, well, better late than never. And this is what Team WE need coming into the last end, you know, the last stretch of the split. We talked about playoffs contention and like that. And I want to know, like, you know, if they can transition these kind of games where they're like obviously quite dominating against Vici Gaming, against the teams that are in those playoff spots, the LNGs, the EDGs, and then the question becomes, you know, can they knock them off their perches?
Well, I actually think it's quite plausible for WE to do something like that. For WE, they've always been known as the Elder Dragon team. If they go late enough and they get the big 5v5 team fight, you can see their coordination. You can see how good Mystic was still in those team fights. So that, I think, is still an edge over teams like EDG and LNG, which when you go to the late game team fights, you're not exactly sure it's going to be their forte. So I still see them having a good chance of taking wins against those teams. But the question for me is, how are they going to stabilize their top side? How are they going to stabilize like kind of the supporting cast of the team? Like, Missing has had very up and down games for me. I think he's been great on the Yuumi, but kind of questionable on other things. And for the top side, Pose came in very strong as a replacement for 957. But recently, in the start of Split, his ranking has kind of gone down. And in this game particularly, he's actually being swapped out for another top laner, which we have not seen yet before.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either, because that wasn't a good game from Pose, that last one.
Yeah.
Yes, you picked the Scion. Yes, you are not supposed to win. But there was just a lot of times where he was mispositioned. He just wasn't in the right place at the right time. And, you know, if you fully go into the depths of that game, there was a lot of times where I feel like Team WE were kind of almost hindered because he was a little too slow to rotate, or he was a little too, you know, late to the party or something like that. And it dragged the game out a little bit longer than it had to be. And, you know, we'll have to see now if Team WE feel with this new top laner. And yep, like you said, like, yet to see him yet in the LPL.
No. His name is Clever Knight, and I wonder what performance we will see from him. Actually, this split, WE has been going back and forth between some of their top laners. We saw 957 have a brief return in the split. The captain of the team, who's sat out the entirety of the previous split, actually come back and try to shore up the position. Unfortunately, they still favored Pose to kind of helm that one. So I wonder what type of dynamic it's going to change in WE. And the most important thing for them, I still think, is being able to beat people off of the teleports. That's kind of the style that WE has always gone for. They're a very bottom side focused team. They're a very LPL style, get your AD carry fed type of a team composition. So I think if I want to see something for Clever Knight, it's if he can fit into the WE system, be the first one into team fights, play a safe top lane where at least he's not falling too far behind, and still do his job in the team fight.
Do you think Clever Knight is just the love child of Knight and Clear Love? It's a Clever Knight.
That wouldn't be too bad. I mean, that would be great. I mean, if he can do that, that'd be great.
If that's physically possible, like, sure, go with it. But no, of course, we're excited. We're always excited to see new players, you know, excited to see what they can bring to the team. And we had a little discussion as well earlier about competition in different aspects of stuff. And competition within a roster, in my opinion, can only breed better kind of players. Because if you're forced to then go, you're no longer the staple of this team, you got to make sure that you're constantly on your A game. That's only positives for that team.
I always say, in principle, you should have a backup for every single position. It pushes your stars to push harder and to keep on their, their high standards of performance. And for your players that are failing, you always have a replacement behind them.
Yes.
You know? So I always feel like it's a great idea to have double teams here, and that's actually something that the LPL has done very well in general. Most of these teams in the LPL itself have their sister teams in the LDL. So they always have backups coming up. You know, OMG was a great example of this, bringing Curse up. Very exciting. And I think Top Esports, another one which has done a tremendous job here. You had Aki, you had 369, both coming from their development squad. And here is going to be our it's Clever 9. Sorry.
Clever 9. You baited me.
We heard it. It was Clever 9 in the production.
I did hear that
I'm sorry. So we must have misheard the production. So Clever 9, we have seen him play in the mid lane.
Yes.
Of course, and he was a Yasuo player. So just making sure, apologies from our side, we just misheard our production. He is a known factor on WE.
And does he go mid lane? Does he go top lane? That's the question.
I think he goes top. I think he goes top.
You think he goes top? You think xiye is just too good in the mid lane?
I haven't seen xiye at top side, so I'm not sure that's going to happen.
We talk about it a lot, though, on the the meta of having solo laners, not just mid laners. But I do agree with you, like xiye. It's you can take the man out of the mid lane, but it's hard to take the mid lane out of the man.
Yeah, and V5 were the ones that started it, but recently they've been finding a lot of trouble with Windy in the top side because at the end of the day, playing in a different lane still requires a completely different skill set.
It's much matchups. It's a much longer net lane as well. Like, you don't actually realize just how much distance there is, like, in terms of added distance between each tower there is between mid lane and like the other two lanes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times it just comes down to player familiarity with the damage calculations on the champions. A lot of times we saw him having massive difficulties against Shahu's Aurelia on the top side. It's like, oh, wait a minute, he's level 6, I should win this, right? Never mind.
Moving on very, very swiftly. But, Clever coming in now, obviously wants to try and cement himself in this WE side. Pose, it never feels good for Pose or any kind of player to be subbed out, of course, but, you hope anyway that they would have a good relationship in the sense of, like, he does it for the team and he respects the decision of the coaching staff.
Yeah, you could see he was a little bit disgruntled with his own performance last time, and I'm actually quite happy that Dog8 is willing to swap players out even after a win. I think that's really important for the coaching staff to recognize it's not always about results, it's about performance. And I think they will have at least better communication with Clever 9. Post is a Korean import, while Clever 9 is, of course, native to this region. So maybe that is the difference that they are looking for. You have to remember that after 957 stopped showing up in the starting lineup, most of the shot calling responsibilities actually fell onto xiye's shoulders. And playing a mechanically intensive lane like the mid lane, I think it's a lot harder to shot call from the mid lane.
I agree.
Personal.
Have you ever watched FLICKR's like POV from MSI?
Yeah, he just swaps.
I got motion sickness, like genuine motion sickness, because he's just swapping to everyone's lane, constantly tapping. Yeah, like his APM must be through the roof.
And I swapped over to play League of Legends because I only had 150 APM. So looking at that, I'm like, come on, give me a break. Where's my safe haven?
Yeah, literally. But again, like you said, the shot calling obviously going to be an interesting one. Maybe they wanted to kind of switch, maybe even just test something out, because right now they have which is rare for most regular seasons, they got a little bit of a buffer, you know? Like, you have that one game, you can, in theory, lose one and then go to a game 3. Obviously, you would prefer not to, but always good to try out these things, always good to see exactly how you stand and where you do stand for these different teams and different lineups. But we're going to see a swap of sides as Vici Gaming go onto the blue and Team WE onto the red.
Red side, the much more favored side for WE. A lot of times they save their last pick incoming for xiye, trying to hold down the mid and jungle. Just taking a look at Clever9. Huh. Okay, so he's not Chen9 apparently.
Not Chen9?
No, he's not Chen9. I'm getting confused by the the amount of 9s.
I was going to say,
on the team.
I'm just going to call him Clever, and I'm going to leave it at that as the bans are finally finished up there. Yuumi not going to be seen in this game as either as the Olaf or the Twisted Fate. Beishang probably never going to see that Olaf pick ever again, unfortunately, this season. And we got Kalista, Karma, and Nico as well. Team WE going with the exact same 3 bans as in the first game. Ezreal going to be locked in, though, for Puff.
Very compositional focused from Vici Gaming, just banning away the composites that they don't want to face coming from WE. And on WE's side, it seems like they are trying to clear out a lot of champions in the top side for Clever9 to have some space to maneuver. Like the Nico has traditionally been one of the top priority top lane picks.
Yeah, Tahm Kench, didn't see it last game, but we will see it this one. As is the first priority pick for Team WE. They get the Corki as well. Xiye obviously having a fantastic game on that. Didn't die at any point in that game. Perfect KDA. And what's Vici's response now? Because you picked the Corki, you talked about how it's a good blind pick. For Vici last time, the Tristana, they maybe still feel like it can do it. They just need to try and maybe like hone it in, you know, clean up that execution if they do lock it in.
I will say Jay actually had a great time against the Corki in the mid lane. If you think about the wave clear potential, multiple times that he was able to just jump on him and try to go for solo kills that way. So in terms of the champion matchup, I think it's perfectly okay to continue with the Tristana. It's just about how are you going to punish this bot lane from Jinx and Tahm Kench. Ooh, that's what I want to see. Haven't really won on the Jinx yet, but I just love the champion. It's so dynamic. It makes the game so much more exciting to have a hyper carry like that.
And it's the fact that her passive Get Excited can literally change the dynamic of an entire team fight. Just because that one kill, you get the movement speed, you're able to reposition, push even further on. And I like it. I like the idea coming in because you're against an Ezreal or Braum. You're not really going to have much kill pressure on top of a Tahm Kench any way, shape, or form. So the Jinx has the safety, has the potential to be able to pick up those 2-3 items.
Yeah, it's a great time to really just pick up the Jinx. Not a lot of threat in that lane, as you mentioned, and it's going to leave Clever9 most likely with the solo lane counter pick here. So very interesting if W are actually going to change their style a little bit. Now, talking about Clever9, I'm sorry I got him confused with Chen9. He did play for the team, but he was always a top laner. So my bad, my apologies to both Clever9 and Chen9 there. And the
so many numbers. What did they mean,
Yeah.
Clement? What did the numbers mean?
I guess 2019, the first year they started playing. Clear Love started this trend. I blame him. So Clever9 was a top lane solo carry. His most played was actually the Rise during his WA Academy team performances, and also a bit of appearances in the NEST Cups. So we might be expecting something very top focused from him. You can see the Elise already. So that works great with a top focus strategy.
I actually just noticed as well, Vici Gaming did not get their 5th and final ban out, so I'll have to wait and see. It might have been a mistake, might have just forgotten how much time they had, and unfortunately got in. But the Poppy locked in, new Poppy locked in for Vici Gaming. It's going to have the root, it's going to have the extra little bit of, you know, sorry, not the root, the
grounded.
The
effect.
grounded, exactly. Thank you very much. And you know that can determine exactly how you play this particular matchup. However, it is going in blind versus Team WE.
And the Skarner being hoovered right here. Okay, this is an interesting one. Very uncommon to see this one being selected, but great potential after level 6. Maybe Vici are trying to simplify their compositions, make sure they have very clear initiations going in. Just looking at the top side, the big question for W here is what do they actually pick against the Poppy?
Something with no dashes whatsoever. No need to dash. It doesn't affect you now, and they're going to lock in the Gangplank. So scaling, and you know what? A little bit more scaling for Team WE.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the Vladimir. That has been more of the traditional answer, and it still has a great laning phase against the Poppy. Gangplank can work as well. A little less ambitious, I would call it.
What you can do, and I would be curious to see if they do try it. I don't know if they will. I'm actually pretty sure they won't. But Vici could swap up Jay to try and go up against the Gangplank. And then you've got the Poppy against the Corki. It's not the best of matchups, but either way, I don't think Poppy's going to have a great time anyway against the Gangplank.
Oh, true.
So we could see them doing a little bit of swap. Yet to see that obviously implemented there. But teams locked in and loaded. Team WE going with what they know, best, pretty much. They know how to get to late game. The Elder Drake of the LPL. They are super, super late game focused again, and don't fix it if it's not broken.
Yeah, true. It's a very similar composition. Basically, the AD carry was traded around, but much of the rest of it stays similar. I'm just very interested on where beishang is going to focus this time around. The Elise pick with the amount of crowd control from the bot side might be something that they will utilize a little bit more. Now, one of the compensation buffs for Tahm Kench is that his slow duration is actually much higher, so that works well with the ganking potential in for Elise. We might be seeing one of those bot-focused games from beishang where he tries to repeatedly gank this one.
We'll have to wait and see. You can see the focus. The cameraman, it's going to be the focus for us. Mystic versus Puff. Southwind versus Missing. And Team WE looking to take game 2, clean this series up, get themselves nicely up on that table. But Vici, they're sticking to their guns. Literally, they're sticking to that Tristana. They think it works against the Corki. They just need to clean up the execution. And we'll have to wait and see if it comes out trumps for them, because right now they are on the precipice of losing another series. I love that chant at the end. I just think it's honestly one of the best things, like one of the best memes and the most wholesome meme. It's like, yes, LGD are not exactly, the most popular team, but they're actually slowly...
of course they are the most popular
I was going to say, they're slowly becoming the most popular team purely because they're able to do all this, every single stadium chants for them.
Yeah, just absolutely crazy about the fandom here. Take a look at the composition. I'm starting to appreciate this Vici comp more and more. They're looking to scale alongside WE, and Braum is a great champion to have with the double marksman composition. You can get those procs, from far away, and there's going to be multiple range champions to start that for you as well. It's a very solid front line in Poppy and Skarner. All in all, it's just playing to the strengths of Vici's hyper carry with Puff. And I also like Jay stamping his foot down and just saying, you know what, I found my playstyle. I'm going to be the early priority guy. I'm going to be the one that's always roaming around the map first. So I wonder how that matchup's going to do. And looking at the rune changes, there's actually some differences here from xiye. He's actually taken a different route. Ooh. Still the same level 2 all-in. Doesn't look like it's going to result in a kill, but forces xiye once again. This time he's actually going to go for the Kleptomancy. So recognizing that, maybe I'm beat here, I'm just going to go for a little bit more scaling than you can handle.
I like that as well. I like the adaptation, realizing that, if Jay is comfortable going into the matchup again, then maybe just change it up a little bit to obviously get him, if he gets lucky with those procs, gets a lot of gold under his belt, able to kind of keep himself relevant into that matchup. And Jay still fishing for more advantages, and I think that we possibly should see the Skarner maybe have a little bit more of a presence into this mid lane.
Yeah, of course, for me, Skarner is still a pretty slow ganking jungler, so I actually feel like beishang has the run of the map. Currently, great warding position on the Raptors as well. And let's see if he's going to run into Ike's. I think he will.
I think they have an inkling that something's going down. As you can see, Jay roaming over as well. Cocoon lands. beishang, you need to run away. That is a 2v1 that you just do not want. Nope, you are not getting the scuttle, my friend. You need to just run away.
Bot lane, a little bit of priority coming in from Vici, especially after that trade. And we have seen the rise of Braum as kind of just a consequence of the rise of Tahm Kench at the same time. Braum has risen up in priority into the second most picked champion across supports in multiple regions now, just because he does prevent the Tahm Kench from walking up. Great slows.
I like that little mini interaction we just saw there. It was it wasn't a fight for Scuttle, it was a fight for the Spire. And if Skarner does not have a Spire, unfortunately, he ain't going to be able to do that much at all. He has a huge dependency in the early game on that Spire. Extra attack damage, extra little bit of damage as well. Yeah,
the attack speed really helps him out in that one. And also, he's quite mana dependent. So, fighting under the the Spire, definitely recommended. And also a bit of gold. Everyone needs a little bit of change.
It's not a bad thing to have a little bit of change in your pocket.
True. I'm just watching xiye as he tries to play a far more defensive lane this time around, not going for the fleet. Knowing that the enemy is trying to go for the all-in anyway, so you might not have a lot of chances to go for footwork to actually do its job.
You can see he's hunkering down into this lane, picking himself up a Cole, and knows that he's probably, as long as he plays this matchup correctly, he's probably not going to lose it.
Great find on missing. Turn around tongue lash.
We're seeing the same, you know, almost the exact same as we saw in the first game. It's a the bot lane, despite having the the Jinx and the Tahm Kench, Mystic just CSing better.
Yeah, they've just been winning a lot more trades in that one. Every time we've been turning around, W has somehow been able to get a little bit of advantage there. Even though the way it should work is that the Tahm Kench shouldn't really be able to touch Puff, but missing has not been missing his mark.
We've seen a lot of Kleptos now in this game. You've got one on Ezreal, you've got one on the Gangplank, and of course as well onto xiye's Corki. So the gold's not going to be as telling as of a stat in this particular game. Can be swayed quite quickly by a random RNG proc.
Yeah, I think the map is going to remain relatively quiet. We're not going to see the gold really jump up for either side. Kleptomancy more of a compensation than anything. Ooh.
Good damage there from beishang onto the Skarner, and you can see WE rotating up. But Jay, he knows that the Elise was there, not going to be feeling super comfortable about pushing up, and he backs himself away. And that's such a common support roam we see. You go back for your first items or your first back, and you immediately roam mid because you're not going to lose anything bot side.
Yeah, and you can help your jungler just set up vision as well, so you got to love that one. Vici, however, I think it's almost time for them to start getting some action in. They have full mid lane priority, there's no teleport from xiye, and they have a Skarner that can make a gank incredibly easy. So I love this move by Vici. It is going to get spotted up. beishang will know they're there, but once Ix gets his Impale, I think that's when the action really starts. They could make a very strong move for that red buff.
WE happy enough with the way this lanes are set up right now. We see another all-in coming in. Jay gonna pop down the Ignite. Actually comes out, I would say, unfavorably in that trade, but the mana, never mind. He pops himself a Corrupting Potion, and of course he's got the Time Warp Tonic to be able to keep his sustain going. So overall, xiye gonna be feeling pretty good.
This is actually very calculated from Jay. He held on to his ultimate, knew he wasn't going to get the kill, and because he has a Vamp Scepter in lane, he should be able to heal up all of that trade damage. So Jay's basically playing the long Kong. He's used up all of the potions coming in from xiye, and he's just waiting for that second chance to get a solo kill.
Jay, though, not going to let it happen. Going to back away. Almost certainly sees, as you said, the opportunity for Jay to jump in on this Tristana. Blue buff has been stolen. I'd say the Skarner is pretty happy with that. Last game didn't exactly go to plan in terms of getting blue buffs. I think he almost lost every single one of them. And right now, game step, very, very passive. I think, you know, both sides just waiting for an opportunity. You can see Jay constantly fishing, but again, very hard to lock down that Corki 100% when you're by yourself.
Yeah, I think Vici still have more opportunities to move on the map and just to make plays happen at this point. what W are waiting on is they need to play pretty safe until Chen 9 still gets his teleport up. If you look at the top side, there is about a 1-minute difference there. So there is some possibility for W to just hold the map with a threat of a teleport. But until then, they should play relatively safe and just try to ward up along the river, which they've already been doing quite well. Make sure that Vici can't roam toward its bot side and disrupt what Mystic is already doing in lane.
And they don't even have to worry about, you know, having that TP advantage as they
Wow.
buff. Heal comes out from Southwind, but they got Mystic's ultimate out of him. Now he's forced to back away, didn't quite get the concussive blows down, but as I was saying, the one thing that I'd say WE have over the side of Vici is you have that cannon barrage. You have the global ultimate of being able to support your team without having your teleport up. So despite obviously, you know, not having that teleport advantage, they still find themselves in an advantageous position to be able to capitalize over Vici mistakes.
Yeah, and that was a big one. Heal being blown away from Puff, not Puff, sorry, Southwind, and traded back for nothing. So that actually really hurts Vici's chances of transitioning this Tristana towards the bottom side of the map. Once again, you're seeing the roaming gank squad between Ix and Jay. This has been the new Vici style, their new motto. Make sure Jay always has lane priority to affect the rest of the map. And with how their bot side has been going, W has been able to set up an early warning system in this bot side river. Vici haven't really been able to surprise anyone, and this is a very late impale timing coming in from the Skarner. No ultimates being used, everyone just running away with that warning.
See now what they're able to do with it, excuse me. Have got priority on the bot side as of this moment, as the Tahm Kench did go back, finished up his warding item as he got the upgrade up. Has got some pink wards and some potions now in his back pocket, so could be able to potentially set up something. You can see Vici, they have priority, but they haven't quite got all the pieces in place to be able to take this dragon straight away.
Yeah, it's been quite difficult for them. I think it's just mainly because of the bot side. You can see on the map when Missing can leave the lane and your support can't, well, having the mid priority kind of cancels itself out with the bot lane deficit. So slowly, Vici will have to their best move is just try to get a kill on beishang, try to find him in transition and make that happen. Oh, but unfortunately, beishang does stop that with the cocoon.
Yeah, good awareness from beishang as well, realizing that everyone was kind of roaming up on top of him. He really wants this ward just to stop any kind of further vision, but hasn't got anyone really to support him as the Corki did just go back. And it looks like the Ocean Drake's going to be started up here now for the side of Vici, and I don't really see beishang looking for a contest.
Yeah, this is one of those waves where Corki does not have the big package, so don't really have a lot of explosiveness on WE yet. No first item either on Mystic. This is just going to be a straight giveaway towards Vici. Oof.
And Clever going to be finding himself in a pretty advantageous position. beishang is here. They're going to pop out the Poppy ultimate as well. Goodbye, beishang. Is the Rift Herald. I like how the Rift Herald's head followed that because he kind of came over just like, whee! He's like, all right, well, I'll go back then. And both ultimates expended. Game still very much at a very even state.
Yeah, nothing coming out of that one, but it does push Vision back into Vici's favor after the gank. And it does give some more opportunities for Vici to try something for this bot side. Probably not after that one.
Yep, I was going to say, unfortunately, Cast a Curse does mean that they do not get anything from that. They are forcing the full summoners out of Puff now, so no flash, no teleport. They have got the Ignite from Southwind, but that's twice now we've seen that, Super Mega Death Rocket forces summoner out of this bot side. And again, Mystic finding himself a 15-10 CS lead in a lane that he realistically shouldn't have as much of a pressure.
Yeah, I think they just out-traded so hard. Now, Jinx is supposed to just get the lane priority slowly with her pushing potential. Does max Q first. But I feel like it was a little too much getting double summoners without trading anything back from WE's side. And that has really been holding the early game together for WE. Just the potential to roam and how much turret plating they're actually getting here. So WE has pinged out the Herald. They know it's going down, and they're just looking for a trade.
But there is nothing to trade as of this moment in time. Not going to drop it for plates. Going to immediately go back, try and go towards that bot side, because you've got to feel like Vici, they know something's afoot. They know that beishang, if he's not top side, he's got to be towards the bot.
Yeah, I love the pathing from Ix. He recognizes exactly where everyone is going. However, that will mean that he has to, if he wants to get some of this turret plating before it falls off, he's going to have to use it in the bot side.
TP has been used. Mystic took a huge chunk. I think that was just purely from the turret. The Corki is fighting Jay on the top side. Flash has been burned by missing as well. Flash engaged, no QSS for beishang. And he's going to be going up, but what goes up must come down. 2 kills for Vici.
And that's just the awareness. The entire play lines up so well for Ix. He has the idea that beishang is going to be coming in for this gank. WE actually go in a little bit too early. Their bottom side takes so much damage. Looks like they weren't able to dodge out on the true shot barrage, and there was no cannon barrage coming in the top side either to help them. So massive win for Vici.
Yeah, no cannon barrage because he had used it to try and kill off Cube in that earlier skirmish, so it was still on cooldown. But let's see how this actually starts.
Yeah, so we are starting at a later time. You can see the ultimates were already used by Vici. They get massive amounts of damage onto WE's bottom lane. Forces out the flash as well, and beishang is just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. The play just wasn't lined up very well from WE. If they wanted to do it, they really needed to do it a little bit sooner. The Predator probably took them off guard there.
You gotta pay the QSS tax. Everyone, I actually don't think there's anyone on this team who can afford to not have it. I think, if anything, you know, the Tahm Kench has also got to go. Missing's got to build Mikhail's Crucible as well, just to keep people safe. But, you know, you've got 1 QSS, and until everyone gets it, you know, that's why it is the Skarner tax. You have to build it, otherwise that's almost a guaranteed kill for Vici every single time.
And it's so punishing when you're ahead and forcing the enemy team to play to pay the Skarner tax, because it means they're also going to be behind in offensive items, and it's a slippery slope where it becomes harder and harder to actually kill these Vici members. Now taking a look at the map, Vici have now swapped Jay over towards the top side. He should still have a favorable matchup here against Clever9. At level 11, the range is just enough for him to safely take care of these explosive barrels.
I was going to say he's at a pretty decent range right now at level 11. Level 14 is when you start to become oppressive and able to throw out the odd poke or two. Has got himself his Blade of the Ruined King as well. And this is a far better game state in the early game for Vici than it was for the side in game 1. And you can see they're able to put down the damage. Clever not able to really trade back as favorable as he was against the Poppy.
Yeah, and this is a good lane allocation from Vici Gaming. I want to see if they can actually find any ganks with beishang so far. I think that's been a problem with their early game, is that I expected more pressure to be held onto that bot lane, at least try to get something like a tower dive going, but it never really happened, even with Vici burning multiple summoners in lane. So, you know, it's not too late for it to start, but this Elise pick so far has not been working out.
And the big difference, though, I'd say what's in WE's favor as of right now, Cocoon Mist is going to have to hold my point, as they might see a fight. Glacial Fissure comes out, knocks out the Tahm Kench. There are the Chompers as well, trying to dissuade this Skarner, who does get the thing, but there's the cannon barrage. That's just enough to keep everyone away. Xiye hasn't got a huge amount of mana, but it doesn't matter. And he gets himself 2 kills for WE.
Perfect location. WE rains down fire in that choke, and I really felt Southwind over-chased on that one. He was trying to go for a Tahm Kench in a corridor, but you could see his teammates backing off, and xiye once again on the flank. Perfect positioning to just close off that corridor.
And what I was going to say just before the fight came in is that the difference between having the Tristana fight the Gangplank is that you have no way of joining the fight. You have no way of impacting anything. And as I said, as I was just about to say it, the cannon barrage comes down and it just changes the entire scope of how that fight goes down.
Surely hopes and prayers do something, right? No,
yeah.
no, it doesn't work like that? Okay.
Ooh, clever. Got ignited, so they do get a summoner out of Jay.
Should be the tower as well.
Should be the tower as well, like you say. So they're going to be a trade of objectives. And like you said, I think it's actually just the Skarner who kind of goes in for this. He sees blood in the water, and unfortunately it was his own.
Yeah, sorry to Southwind. It was definitely Ix going way too far in that one. And you can see the Poppy coming in and getting a double knockup, but Cannon Barrage plus xiye were not affected by that.
No tower going down the top side. Now we see WE finally taking themselves a little bit of a gold lead. Only about 1,000 gold, so nothing to be writing home about, but still better state of game for them as of this moment and time. They got themselves 2 Quicksilver Sasers now on the Tahm Kench and onto the Corki. xiye got to pretty much pick, I think he picked that up first item, so he was just not going to die at any point, very much respecting it. And top lane turret goes down in favor of WE. They're starting to chip away, starting to get to that level where, you know, it doesn't matter how far into the game that you go or how good your early game was, because the early game will be far forgotten.
We are the masters of late game. Double Kleptomancy, we're willing to drag this one out, and just better coordination with their top laner on that single fight. Unfortunate for Ikes to go in. I still don't think I've seen a good Impale happen yet this game, and it's been 19 minutes.
Did get the kill on his first one onto beishang on the bot side, so true. Did pick up one, but I do agree with you, not as impactful, and the later this game goes, the less relevant that ultimate becomes with items that do get picked up. Of course, the QSS tax. There's Puff trying to go here. Cube gets cocooned. Not really worried about that. They have a lot of chase down with Puff on this Ezreal, of course, going with the Iceborne Gauntlet build. And yet to see Vici really try and hone in their advantages. They're trying to get this top lane turret. That will be a start. No real response available for Team WE.
The question seems to be, where do they send xiye at this point? They really don't want double carry stacking up on the same lane. So he's going to go towards the top side. And that's still not going to be a favorable matchup for him. We've seen how far Jay has been able to control this.
Looks like it's going to be a red buff steal here for Vici. They hand that one over to Jay. And this is a kind of the scary moment for Team WE. They're losing pressure in their own jungle. They're not able to pick up those camps. Small little advantages like that could potentially snowball against them. But as I say that, I look again at their composition with the Gangplank, the Corki, the Jinx. You just have so many damage threats the longer this game goes on. And, you know, xiye, we saw how incredibly, you know, dangerous he is on this Corki pick in that last game, that if he's given 2 minutes, he will just run rampant through your team.
Yeah, and that's why I really like the Braum pick in this situation. If you look at all of WE's damage, they're going to be coming from one direction. They're most likely going to be trying for a kind of like a siege scenario with the rapid fire cannon being selected by Jinx already. So that shield is going to block so much of the incoming damage. I actually feel like Vici with Braum just wins that late game fight because of the way that the Braum works against these, you know, double range champions. And Vici actually have great answers with their own double marksmen. So I think the scaling potential is definitely there from WE, but I don't actually think they win the straight-up 5v5 team fight when it comes to Braum in the mix.
See Mystic taken down to half HP with a WQ combo from Puff, and gotta be careful. Puff is starting to, you know, feel good in this matchup. He's starting to feel like he's got some power to be able to take this 1v2 and not be afraid of it.
Yeah, and he's got that AP item going on as well, so most likely we're going to be seeing Ludens being transitioned here, and just the solo burst potential from Puff is going to be something Mystic has to be so careful of. Even with the extra range, you can't beat a Mystic shot, which is 1100.
Mystic gets Mystic, and it's a terrible joke. Don't even laugh at that.
I try not to. But
try not to, but your inner bad joke person was like, that was funny.
Yeah, I have a terrible humor tolerance. Most ticklish person I've ever met. Ooh.
Oh, Skarner forced to flash away. Will not get followed up on, though, but that's a summoner down. Do not have that initiation just as the dragon spawns. Will be second Infernal for Team WE if they're able to take it. And that's a big if. There's Southwind, Unbreakable down. That could be potentially huge. TP available for xiye, though, as he starts to return. He's going to probably pick up his rapid-fire cannon if he wants to try and return into this fight.
That was really close, but at least it forces away the Predator from Ike, so no easy impales here. WE can look to poke out.
Yeah, TP did come in, so there's another 5v5. Missing.
Puff found
Puff. There's the cannon barrage as Jay just gets a lot of damage there onto Clever, and he's the first one to fall. As Skarner is traded, but they catch out the Jinx. That's a double kill for Jay. Huge trade back there for Vici, and they're the ones that come out of the fight 2 for 1.
That was a great move from Cube. He knocks 2 back and then stuns Mystic on the wall of the terrain, and they're going to pick up so much here. Double objectives. It's going to be the mid lane tower and the Infernal Drake equalized.
They crack open the last outer turret and they turn towards that Infernal Drake. But what is the response from Team WE? Looks like they're going to try and maybe just clear out this Baron side, give themselves some more time.
That was a great team fight coming in from Vici Gaming. WE actually had the better start to that one. They found the zap and the tongue lash onto Puff. He was down until like 300 HP at the start of the fight. But out of nowhere, Jay finds the perfect angle. I want to see how he actually gets this on Clever 9 while everyone was looking at the Ezreal. Oh, flashes in to finish off the kill, and that should also give him the reset to go back in. None needed.
Great heroic charge there from Cube, recognizing as soon as he hits his ultimate that nobody is around this Jinx to save him. The Tahm Kench was knocked back. We can kill this Jinx, and you can see the flash from Mystic still up, wasn't even able to use it. It only realistically equalizes the game, and even then, DWE are still slightly ahead in terms of gold.
Yeah, but I feel a lot more confident in Vici this time around. This is a great play from Cube. Honestly, I felt like that was the best keeper's verdict we've seen from a Poppy this split. Just knock away everyone protecting Mystic and stun him on a wall. That was great.
You have yet to see Vici and LEC, but you can see the damage that goes down. This Tristana pick...
We're in China now. You will not speak. No. They're the superior region for now. One tournament.
For now. I still regard IG in China as world champions, and that's the important thing right now. But see the damage in that last team fight, and Jay, you can, unfortunately, you know, it's a kind of a harsh lesson for Clever to learn, is that you can't aggress forward without having perfect vision of everybody. He should have realized that, hang on, I see 4 people, I'm missing 1. Just took an assumption, but Puff got caught out, will get redemption, back up to about half HP, has got the red buff, so should be totally fine staying out onto this rift. And the rest of Vici looking towards this Baron, but Clever, WE, they've got the call right now. They have got the teleport available, Cannon Barrage available as well. They're looking to just push down this bot lane, create the split push pressure.
And there's not much that... Ooh, Southwind almost going down.
Southwind will go down. Flash in. Xiye picks up that one. That just seems like a disrespectful move there from the side of Vici Gaming. So not able to really do anything from there. True Shot Barrage comes out to try and clear the wave. It's actually Mystic is the one who's tanking it. Not what you want. And actually a huge amount of damage. You gotta be careful missing. They could potentially turn this one around. Here comes Jay. He pops down the explosive charge. Not able to get any kills though. Everyone disperses. They keep that health of the turret. I think it's on 1 HP. If the observer can click on it, thank you. 21 HP.
Pretty close.
Very, very close. A slight breeze will go, but that's the go sign. There was so many low health bars from Team WE that Vici can go for it. They can get the TP in from Poppy as well. But Team WE know what's going on. They're going to try and push in missing. They're trying to maybe push for this. The Skarner taking so damn low, he couldn't tank it for very much longer. There's the...
Oh, doesn't find it?
It does not. Observer knew. But now the inside track belongs to Team WE. They can keep pushing with this. They got all 5 members. There's not really much of a defense here for Vici.
It's a 2v5 situation. Puff tries to get the ultimate down. He nearly snipes beishang. That's the AP Ezreal for you. Oh my god.
And we are getting to that critical mass of a game right now. We're at 27, nearly 28 minutes. So we see how actually, I think it's Braum, just walked too far forward.
Oh, I guess he cannot take the Corki damage just yet. That was just a big one, and one auto attacking was down to half.
Yeah, and now that we have the Baron back up into play, Southwind trying to play keep away. Xiye hasn't been allowed to return yet. Neither has beishang, as he's going to be back on the top of this. Redemption comes down to keep everybody down. And nice and healthy as we see Clever trying to get in. But a great keeper's verdict keeps away beishang from this fight. And now they start to re-engage. They're coming back into this. The Clever's going to be going down. Braum is the one who's sacrificed. Tahm Kench is going to try and keep this Jinx alive. Who's got the rockets? Who's got the damage? There's 1. There's 2. There's maybe 3. And Jay's going to be the one to force it back. Jay and Puff are just too damn big. Snipe onto Xiye. Vici take the fight.
Sit the Corgi down. Puff with the massive snipe, and that's going to open up the mid lane inhibitor to the double carries. Jay can take it down so fast with the E, the explosive charge here, just shredding through that tower. Unfortunately, the minion wave is slightly slower behind. Should still be able to take 1 at least.
Do they go for a little bit more? Only Tahm Kench available, but looks like they've got their eyes on that Mountain Drake. And Mystic, how many times have we seen Mystic almost turn a fight around? Let's have a look at how that started.
Yeah, that was a great start by Cube, knocking away the jungler, and another great find coming in from Southwind. Double knock-up with the ultimate, and just swapped Mystic as he tries to hold down the fort here. A couple of lucky crits, 1, 2, he gets 2, but he doesn't, it's not enough to kill Jay. Jay survives with the lifesteal coming in from Blade of the Ruined King and wins out on the 80 carry duel.
That was so incredibly close, and you could see Mystic, if he gets one lucky crit, he takes that entire team fight, potentially gets the pentakill.
Yeah, he actually had a double
triple
crit on the back end against Jay, but it still wasn't enough to kill him.
And that is very, very unfortunate. Now Team WE, you know, you went for full scaling. Welcome to full scaling. You're against the, you know, potentially full scaling for Tristana and the Ezreal. You need to be able to have an answer to this, and looks like their answer is going to be try and go for that split push. Have got the cannon barrage if a fight does turn out, but look how quickly that these, oh my god, the tower goes down, but GA taken down to half HP as well. They trade turret for turret, but this is a huge wave coming in. Redemption comes down as well. Keeper's Verdict going to keep away the tanks. Tahm Kench no longer part of this, and they crack open the base.
But there's a lot of blinking HP bars on Vici Gaming. I don't think they can stay here anymore. This is a perfect follow-up for Mystic. But he doesn't land the W.
And they honestly keep going with this!
Reset!
Jinx with a super mega death rocket! And this is honestly a great play from Team WE. They got the poke down. They trade inhibitors. That's not the trade you're looking for. And Clever, he could keep going. They just need to stop back. We need to try and get some kind of a trade count right now.
There's the TP.
Is coming in. They're going to get the TP as well. WE are going to try and end this right now. They just need to stop the backs. They just need to stop the rest of the team from coming in. The Nexus turrets have fallen. And the Nexus goes down. Team WE are going to take the series 2-0.
Oh, what a great finish to the game. It was just one small overstep from Vici Gaming as they chased through the cannon barrage, thinking that they could finish, but all their abilities were done. And once that super mega death rocket came into their ranks, you knew it was over. Reset City, crazy mad Jinx chasing you down, and not enough time to get back to base. Only Southwind finishes before the teleport comes down, and WE take the base race.
What decisive call. What a decisive call from Team WE right there. It was very obvious they knew exactly what they were doing. It was keep the Gangplank up top, keep split pushing. If they overstep, you throw down the cannon barrage, and we can either at least get a Nexus turret, but right there, it just took so long for the side of Vici Gaming to actually back away that they just couldn't defend.
Yeah, Vici Gaming, they were thinking a little bit too far ahead. I felt like after the Keeper's Verdict didn't get like the maximum knockback, didn't get the carry knockback, maybe they should have thought about defending their own tower. It was only a 4-second with the Empower recall. They could have done that and then reset the map again, still having enough time on that Baron play. But no, they were up for it. They were up to the challenge. They said, if you're going to throw the gauntlet down, we're going to follow. Unfortunately, the roller coaster did not end in their side.
How many games do you see where one team gets Baron and then the other team ends the game before the Baron can even expire? They had about a minute of the Baron.
This is so Vici.
It is unfortunately so Vici, but Team WE, I gotta give prop. That was just very, very decisive. And I think the biggest thing in that last fight was the Super Mega Death Rocket that just killed off. You know, I can't even remember. I think it was the Skarner at the last second.
It killed off the Tristana, which is even
that's what
bigger.
it was. Yes.
It was actually the most fed member on the team who's been side lane split pushing the entire time. And probably the only one that could have had a great chance at stopping the Gangplank. So they get the Tristana. There's no backs in. Gangplank with Triforce is going to chop that down so fast. Another Spellforce user coming, Spellblade user in the Corki doing the teleport straight back in as well, just to finish off the game. And that was just once more where Vici Gaming have to pay for the price of being inexperienced.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It looks so good. It looked genuinely like you said. You said it yourself. Quote: "I'm a lot more confident about this Vici side. They've got the scaling. They've done the right moves." And it was just that last call. It was literally one call of just they overstepped, they overreached, and then Team WE, and much like every other team in the LPL, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
And you have to remember how that Tristana actually died from Jay. It was only the cannon barrage and a couple poke from the
I think
Corki.
it was one rocket, and then the cannon barrage,
and then another
and then
rocket.
and then a much bigger rocket. But you know, Vici, unfortunately, they do fall down. Team WE though, their playoff hopes very much alive. Another 2-0 in the bag.
Keep your dreams alive. The miracle could happen again. So we have to pay close attention to them. Up to 5 wins. If they can sneak into 6, they're actually with the crowd once more. That's where everyone is located.
They've
all
now
the way from, like,
they've now leapfrogged.
I think 9th is all 6 wins.
I was gonna say they now leapfrog Victory 5.
Ooh.
Victory 5 only have 4 wins. They now have their 1 behind. So, you know, the meme that Victory 5 need 5 wins. And it's just, they need 5 victories to justify the name. But, you know, Team WE, that second game definitely not as convincing. I do see the merits now within the Tristana versus the Corki. I think the Tristana is actually showing itself to be We're
going to see a lot more of that
I'm going to say, I think a lot of teams are going to watch that match and go, cool, we know that this works. And if we're a slightly more rounded team, a slightly more experienced team, we can make this pick absolutely destroy the Corki. Corki is no longer a blind pick unless you ban the Tristana.
Yeah, level 2, a lot of times, like, the Corki's not even going to have the Valkyrie back. So there's a lot of windows where inexperienced players are going to die to that just straight level 2 all-in. And the build favors it as well, just because you have the additional, you not only have the lifesteal sustain advantage, you also have the all-in advantage.
Yep.
So the way Xiye played that was, I'm just going to go teleport, call, and also kleptomancy. See you in the late game.
I'll see
no
you guys
contest whatsoever.
in 35 minutes. But and sometimes that is the way you have to kind of go for it. But Team WE, you said it before, if there's anyone who knows how to play late game, if there's anyone who knows how to shot call in those decisive moments that can win or lose you a game, it's going to be Team WE.
Yeah, the only problem I have with this series with Team WE is I felt like their early games were a little too slow in my sense, for my liking. I felt like they could have tried to solo the bot lane a little bit more. Like that Elise was not very impactful at all that game. Didn't find the early ganks onto the bot side. And the same thing kind of goes for the first game as well. It's kind of a slow pace, no gank type of style. And I think that with the Tristana pick in the future, they're going to be looking at some other blind picks for Xiye.
Yeah,
sure.
I definitely think so.
Else.
But again, you know, you talked about the Elise. It did seem like, you know, Elise is just one of those picks that, yes, she has a very good early game, but only if her lanes allow her to have that early game. If she's not able to be set up on combination with a couple of other things, like, you know, for example, the Renekton and Elise combination is so powerful because he's got that, you know, stun to be able to set up. And like you're able to just kind of set it up. If the Elise is the only initiation you have, it's very difficult to get that early game going. And we talked about a little bit as well how, you know, Team WE, they did fall behind a little bit in the early game. The Elise didn't do what it needed to do, and then the Skarner had the ultimate, and the Skarner ult is just infinitely better than the Cocoon. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. And this time around, I actually felt like WE got away quite lucky.
Yeah.
Mid-game fights didn't work out for them. Baron fight, they were outplayed. It was just the experience, just the clever.
Yeah,
the
see what you did there? But of course, Vici Gaming looking towards 2020, and unfortunately, they do fall 2-0 to Team WE. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have our second series of the day, which is LGD versus DMO. Both teams still mathematically in here, but we'll have to wait and see. We're going to go to a break, and we'll see you guys very soon.